I've seen a lot of people not make the transition to the social world. So
Hmm.
you just mentioned a few different channels for you: podcast, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I've seen a lot of people just not make that switch. They were reliant on Google traffic, which has gone away almost entirely for most people, and they just didn't make the switch, so they don't run a business anymore, and it's a real bummer. I worked with a lot of
That's
these
so
people
sad.
for 10 plus years. Um, so it seems like that dovetails exactly into what you're talking about, because I think the only reason they didn't is because it was too anxiety ridden. It was too
Yeah.
difficult. It was all emotional. The
Hmm.
skills are there. Um, how do you speak to that audience?
So I think that there's a few layers here to that. I think that often, I mean, just historically, with just the way that humans operate in general, I think that's just important. Like, there's nothing wrong with anyone experiencing anything. I think it's the most normal human experience to, when you're about to learn something new. It's just, you think about it, like, I have two kids, right? So like, we're teaching them how to ride a bike or tie their shoes, right? There's a different part of the brain that's working when you're trying to learn something new, and have to kind of face your relationship with being a beginner at something. And it also kind of fights up against any kind of belief system that you have around your relationship with tech, or your relationship with things being difficult, or your level of adaptability and your level of being able to recognize, maybe I'm just going to have to walk through this a little bit more slower, or find a person or mentor that's more aligned with the way that the things that I need. So there's nothing wrong with anyone navigating that kind of process of learning something new. So there's just like the beginner aspect, and also just when you're learning something new, it brings up weird shit in your body. It's just part of the process, right? I mean, when I was trying to learn drums, it was like everything is firing all at once. Every single cylinder of your brain, you're just trying to figure all these things. So if you have this kind of pressure on yourself already, pressure and judgment are the two biggest factors when you're entering anything that'll create nervous system dysregulation. And I see it historically because I work with a lot of high achieving entrepreneurs who have really big missions. Like, they want the multi-million-dollar companies and the being on stages and all the things. And there's this level, with entrepreneurs, there's a level of pressure and judgment. Those two things will create the dysregulation in your body, which will either go to like fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. And they all look different. They all respond different in the body, which I can get into in a moment. But essentially, when you have this kind of underlying pressure of, I have to show up a certain way, I have to post a certain way, I have to make sales from this. There's like the also the pressure to perform and to become profitable. And also the judgment aspect of, like, maybe I don't like the way that I look, or maybe I don't like the way that I talk, or do I have to show up a certain way, and I have to, all these kind of rules of maybe the self-judgment aspect. But wherever we're judging ourselves internally is where we're afraid of anyone judging us externally. um so those are the two pieces that I see from a nervous system space of kind of entering into a new thing. And then also, just one last thing on that, I will say that when especially when people are in my broadcast room, my membership, where we support people with the visibility, and then also marketing and selling in a way that feels aligned and of service, instead of like this manipulative marketing or bro marketing or anything like that, that just does not sit and align well with most of my clients. It's this idea of, when I am showing up, when I'm doing these things, they have to look a certain way, be a certain way, act a certain way. And then there's this process of just massive dysregulation in the body when we have the idea of being seen in front of potentially millions of people. Because I'll ask people all the time, it's like, oh, like, how do you feel about sitting in a room full of a million people? They're like, terrified, horrified, don't do that. I go, okay, so let's just pretend like we're creating for one person. Just literally just creating with one person right in front of you. That's it. And we just, we are a tribe mentality, and we don't, it's a lot of visibility, and it can feel a little dangerous for a lot of people. So I will say that those are the biggest pieces for sure.